All right, guys, I tried to make this video like 3 times. So, today's message is harvest the raspberries. There is always this idea that we work really hard and then whatever we have been working hard on, we are going to harvest or reap the benefits of that specific thing. We also feel like we can predict, or we should be able to predict, when the harvest comes, when the abundance comes, all those manifestations that we have all learned to do about, manifesting abundance. And to be honest with you, all of us in there is the financial abundance, right? It's how we eat. It's how this paradigm or this, world works. And the closer I get to nature, the more I work with nature, the more I just go with it. I am always in awe of where the harvest comes from. And most of the times, the greatest harvest that I've ever had is because somebody else planted the seed before me. So this year's one of my biggest harvests, and I'm talking quite literally a harvest from, gardening and the earth, has been raspberries. I didn't plant these raspberries. These raspberries aren't even on my land. And I use my land very loosely. We all know that. But they were planted by people that I do know. People who have passed. They are in a place that I have been to before. And this year, I had been given the opportunity to harvest the raspberries. And I had this profound experience with harvesting these raspberries because I have never had the experience of what I've heard from indigenous people and from other spiritual aspects where I had the knowledge here, but not here. And that is that we plant seeds for the next generation. We don't really plant them for us. We are giving to the next generation. And here I am, and I know, their names are Joyce and Neil, who have had a farm, who in particular Neil planted raspberries on his farm. And his daughter said, my freezer's full, Janine. I can't pick all the raspberries. Can you come? If you want to, they're yours. Come and help me pick the raspberries. And simple enough, of course, I'm going to take this opportunity, and always take the opportunity when it says, hey, I've had my fill. There is overflow. Can you take it? You always say yes. You never question that. You always say yes, because that is how we work. We don't hoard, right? We're like, I have had my fill. How about you? And there is something also profound, right, of not just giving everything away without filling up our own cup, but it's also about knowing when our own cup is filled and there's more to go. So I'm singing to the raspberries. I sing when I garden or when I harvest. I sing all the time. I sing whatever comes to my mind. And I was singing to Joyce, Neil, and Patrick, and I was saying thank you for the strawberries. Nico was having this, great, he would put a strawberry in his mouth and be like, thank you, Patrick, and, like this joy of being thankful, not, being thankful to the ones who planted, being thankful for the raspberries, just this beautiful, feelings. But then I had something that, again, I knew here, I had no idea what this felt like. I was inheriting something from people that I knew, that I loved. That, I don't expect to inherit my neighbor's treasures, right? I don't, you don't, I'm not, that's like kind of a wild idea in our society. But I felt this divine and, like, I'm gonna cry, like, powerful understanding of close community and what it means to plant for the next generation. To have the connection of an ancestor through the earth. Because we're all part of this. And I have just been stopped in my tracks with this overwhelming experience of inheriting food, literal food. It is sustaining my body. It's sustaining my family. My freezer is full. And Joyce in particular, that's what she did in this world, is she fed people. That is literally what she did. She made sure people had food. And to realize that her spirit is continuing to do that, that her husband was in communion with that, and I use that word like because they had different spiritual beliefs, but that doesn't matter, right? It's the heart. And I had this like, oh, guys, the eternal aspect, right? Like we always talk about in mediumship, this eternal, like, because your soul lives on. But this is the eternal aspect too. Her spirit is still giving. This whole family is still feeding people. And I just got this excitement because I think a lot of us struggle with, what is our purpose? What happens after we pass? And can I just what if what you sow, what if what you plant right now, it would just continue? And it makes you think, what do you want to continue? So it's just a patch of raspberries, right? And I think to myself, how often has someone planted something so magical, so much in feeding, and how many times we say, oh, no, leave it for someone else, or oh, no, like we say no to the gift that was for you. I didn't plant the raspberries. I planted a lot of things in my garden. I got one eggplant. My cucumbers are coming in really well. But it's not going to be my biggest harvest. My biggest harvest is something that I literally did not tend to. Heather tended to it. Her parents tended to it. I'm learning how to pick raspberries. I'm feeling the joy of the raspberry bush when I pick its fruit, because it's heavy, it's birthed, right? Like when you give birth, you want that baby out. And I can hear the raspberries like, pick me. And so, especially in times like now, we can often forget that we are planting seeds that we may never harvest. Yet, they will feed, and they will be reaped by the right ones. And your and my job right now is to both plant our seeds in this world, our goodness. Joyce liked to feed people, and guess what? She still is. What's it for you? And then it is also just as important to harvest what someone else planted before you for you. That is the part of the circle. If we do not harvest, then that seed was planted for what? So we need to do both. Harvest the raspberry. I love you, my dear friends. These times are a-changin'. We are here, we are showing up. And the one thing in all of this that I can say is the strength of spirit of just wanting to live in love and safety and peace. There's no stopping it. We're in it together.